ò mẹ́rin ò gbóhùn erin ọ̀mọ̀sà ò jíyọ̀ lọ́bẹ̀ àjànàkú kọjá mo rí nǹkan fìrí tá a bá rẹ́rìn ká sọ pé arẹ́rìn. Solocard Multiventures Limited ilé ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ ni mò ń sọ níbi káta ojúlówó kẹ́míkà àti fataláísà tí kìí ṣe yèèpẹ̀. ọ̀rẹ́ mi sọnù kí owó bá sọnù.
Ìwé kíkọ láìsí ọkọ́ àti àdá kò ì pẹ́ o, kò ì pẹ́ o. Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ wa, ẹni kò ṣiṣẹ́ á máa jalè. Ìwé kíkọ láìsí ọkọ́ àti àdá kò ì pẹ́ o, kò ì pẹ́ o. Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ wa, ẹni kò ṣiṣẹ́ á máa jalè.
It's another great day again, a wonderful Tuesday again, where we always prepare to meet with our farmers, where we come around to tell our farmers what they can actually do differently from what they have been doing before, where we come around to tell farmers how well they can do their agricultural practices in order to make more profits. A day where we come to tell our farmers solutions to some of the challenges they have been facing on their farms. It's a day where we come to listen to our farmers to hear them out, what are the challenges they are having and how well we can best meet their needs. And today again, it's a Tuesday morning where we are available for you farmers to attend to whatever challenges you think you have on a farm. My name remains Mark Oluwafemi for Solocard TV, and we welcome you to today's episode of Solocard TV, sponsored by Solocard Multiventures Limited, where we bring about agricultural practices, day-to-day activities on the farm, and solving agricultural problems. And that's what we are here to do. We want to say a very big thank you to you for always staying tuned to us at Solocard Multiventures Limited, for trusting us to give you agricultural inputs that will bring about adequate results on your farm. And again, we want to say a very big thank you to you for always staying tuned to every Tuesday. We want to believe that one way or the other, we actually been providing solutions to a particular challenges or even solving two problems. Even though we know we might not be doing much, but the little we are doing now, we are working on making it better and also doing something better for almost everybody. Like we said, among our numerous customers, farmers and friends that we want to reach out to, we are only looking for a better way of reaching out to everybody simultaneously. We can't start calling everybody one by one or visiting people's farms one by one. We won't go around, and that's the truth. And that is why we created this platform to showcase agricultural practices, what you can do differently and how you can actually have a good result. And that's why we are urging you viewers there. You can always share the link to other persons, to other farmers that you know around you. We are not just administering these solutions to only our farmers, but to everybody that's into agriculture. Either you are buying things from us or you're not buying from us, it's not a problem. What we are after is ensuring that everybody that has to do with farm is getting adequate results on their farm. And that's our main target. Our main aim is to ensure that every farmer that is cultivating, doing one thing or the other on the farm, either buying things from us, either visiting us or not, we don't know, but we want everybody to do whatever they're doing and do it adequately and get the adequate result. And like I said, at Solocard Multiventures Limited, we are not just after selling agricultural produce to you, because everything you need on the farm we sell, starting from the seed, implements, chemical, fertilizer, even harvest materials, your baskets, your crates, whatever you think you can talk about that has to do with farm, we are selling. Irrigation material is available. But what we are after is the effectiveness and productiveness of everything you buy from us. Even to those that don't buy from us too, we don't mind. But we just want to ensure that whatever you're buying, anyway you're buying, you could actually get results and value for your money. Once again, I want to welcome you to today's episode of Solucard TV, where we talk about agriculture. In our previous episode, we've been talking about agricultural practices, and we want you to know that day to day we are looking for ways of bringing to your notice something we note on the farm or we seen on the farm differently for what people are experiencing, and also some challenges that we have seen over the times we visited farms. Like I tell you, every week we go to farm. We visit at least 2, 3, 4, 5 farms before we come back to the next episode of our program. So from this, we are sharing every day with you episodes, challenges, problems of things you are seeing on people's farms. We don't know what is happening in your farm too, but when we share it here, it helps you too if you have the same challenge, and that's what we're doing. And today we'll be talking about understanding the principles of agriculture, or understanding the dynamics of agriculture. We had a meeting yesterday. We had a meeting on Saturday with some group of persons, agriculturists anyway, and we heard their views, some people's comments, and some other things like that. Now, what brought about today's topic was a function of our discussion in the past days. We realized the fact that some persons actually want to go to agriculture. Number one, they don't understand what agriculture is really all about. So persons claim they are farmers, they understand agriculture, but the truth is this: they don't really understand the principles. Someone once told me, "What do you think you know? When were you born that you want to tell me about agriculture?" And I told him, "I'm sorry, sir, I was just born yesterday. But agriculture has gone beyond the conventional way. If you understand the principles of how it's been done, not how it was done, then you could get better results. Because if you're using the principle of how it's been done, you always get a better result. But when you're using the principle of how it was done, you always get worse results. Understand this. Agriculture has improved much more than what our parents think they know. And most of them, they want to use that same mentality to be operating in the today agricultural setup. And that is why they can never break even. Most farmers are known to be poor, wretched. And that's why so many people will think of farming. Farming is just a business of the poor. I had a meeting with some group of persons yesterday, and one of them, the wife has always been on his neck, like, you cannot farm. And I asked, why are you saying your husband should not go into agriculture? From all our explanation, it was observed that she concluded that farming is meant for just the poor, people that don't have anything to do. But I made her understand the fact that agriculture has gone beyond that way. If you're using the old time mentality to run agriculture of today, you can never break even. You will remain in the same stage, because you only be living from hand to mouth. But when you understand the principles of agriculture today, then you will understand that agriculture has gone beyond the conventional way, and you can actually do it much more better than what you have been doing before now. Before now, we understand the fact that so many things have been done wrongly. Cultivation has been wrongly done. Planting has been wrongly done. But today, we understand the dynamism of precision farming. When I mean precision farming is doing everything adequately, just the way it should be. Not just second guessing about what you need to do, or just assuming what you need to do. Over times, talking about planting population, talking about planting spacing, and talking about your population density on a particular size of land. Most farmers in the time past don't consider that. They just be like, let's plant this way, and at the end of the day, the population of the field is so scanty, and the yield will also drop. For instance, if you are cultivating maize, you are meant to have a minimum of 50,000 stands of maize on an hectare. In some cases, you can have 52,500. Some persons have 51,000. Some persons have 53,000. Provided you, is a function of your land orientation. And if you use the planting spacing of 0.25 by 0.75, what I mean by 0.25, that's 25 cm between plants and 75 cm between rows. Even there was a farm I visited, it was a massive farm. They actually use 0.65, that's 65 cm between rows. Such planting will give them at least 57,000 stands on an hectare. In this case, you might say the farm will be choked up when the plants are growing. Yes, the farm will be so condensed. But when nutrient is made available, the plants will do well. We are not just saying this that you can do it that way. We have practiced it before. We have pictures of our farms. You can visit our farm even to see them. We have done them before. Even the maize we have on the farm as I speak to you now was planted at 25 cm between plant and 75 cm between rows. And if you see the inside, it is well populated. Good number of stands on the field. And our yield will be what we're expecting, not guessing what we should expect. Most farmers today will tell you, if you ask the farmer, if you plant 1 acre of this, what will you get? Yes, true. God is the one that owns the principle of how you put the seed in the ground and it germinates. But when you do what you need to do, you could have an idea of what this thing could come out for you. There are principles that governs cultivation, just as there's principles that govern whatever operations you are doing. You cannot move from primary 1 to primary 6 and later come back to primary 2. You have to go from primary 1 to primary 2 from primary 2 to primary 3, which will land you in primary 6 at the end of the day. If you're doing agricultural practice too, if you understand the principle of how you have to put the seed on the ground, what you need to do, you could understand what you will have in 2 weeks' time. You could understand how the farm should look like when you're harvesting. These are principles. True to know that God owns the principles of how seed turn to harvest. Because God is the first farmer. God was the first person that planted things, and he gave a commandment and he blessed the land. So if you are working in commandment with God and you understand the principles, then you can have the result. Most farmers will believe that let's just plant it. Yes, we also thank God for what we are getting to. But why don't you do it the right way? Why don't you follow the principles that governs the cultivation process that will enable you to get the yield you're actually expecting? And this is some of the things we want our farmers to understand. You are doing whatever you think you're doing with the same size of land, with the same time frame. But you are getting 2 tons, for instance, on the maize farm. But if you understand the principle and you follow the principle, the same size of land, the same time frame, you will have 5 tons or 6 tons. Look at the difference. So why don't you follow the principle? The principle is not difficult. The principle is not magic. The principles are the things you know already. But what you don't understand is how to put these principles together in sequence on how they should go. And that's the challenge we are having. Talk about our cassava farmers. I'm making mention of all these crops because these are the common crops people are cultivating at the moment. Talk about cassava farmers today. Cassava farmers just plant cassava zigzagly, half-heartedly. They don't even prepare the field or whatever. Some person will not even plow the land, not talk of even making ridges. Some farmers believe that you spending money on plow the land is like waste of money. I can put the cassava stick on the ground, and the thing will grow. It will give me the yield. Yes, it will give you the yield. But the truth of the matter is this. The yield you will get will not be commensurate or will not be the same with the yield that the farmers that plow the land and make ridges will get. It can't be the same. It can never be the same. What we want you to understand is there are principles that govern cultivation. And when you follow these principles, you will have adequate results. First of all, let's talk about cassava. How does cassava forms in the ground? When you put your cassava stem in the ground, it forms roots to start establishing. That root will enable the cassava stem to bring out leaves on the top and they start growing. The same root that goes into the ground is the one that gives you the cassava, because those roots later turn to tubers. Invariably. Research goes more than that. We have the roots down. Normally we have the tuber roots. But let's just go in a general form. The root turns to tuber. Now, it's how well the root can travel that determines the size of the tuber you will get. It's how well the soil is well broken down that determines the width of each tuber you're going to get. If I am getting a particular tuber on my farm and is weighing 30 kg per tuber, why are you getting tuber on your own farm that is weighing only 200 grams? Have you seen the difference? 20 kg, 30 kg, 16 kgs, just one tuber in the ground. So how much more? Why are you getting tubers that will be so tiny, that even by the time you finish peeling the cassava tuber, all you have inside is just as tiny as this, my 2 fingers? That's not results. By the time you process it, when you remove the fiber content in it, you remove the shaft, everything, whatever you have going to have from that tuber that is this tiny, it's not going to be much again. But when you have tuber that is as big as the lumps of my hand, I'm sure you understand the fact that by the time you finish peeling it, when you process such tubers, the ratio of what you will get from there will be much higher than such tubers. But the question is this: the same time frame, the same size of land, different yield. What we want our farmers to understand is this: if you can follow the principles and guidelines that governs the cultivation of a particular crop you want to cultivate, the better for you, because you are going to spend relatively the same amount of money. Get the point? Relatively the same amount of money, the same time, the same size of land, but the results you'll be getting will be much more different. Why don't you follow the principles and do it right? Some of the problem we notice about our farmers is this: a lot of persons don't even know anything about what they want to cultivate. They don't know how to cultivate it. They don't even know that they need to have a particular number of stands on the field. They don't even know what it entails to cultivate that particular crop, why I should do something for this crop to do well, why they are doing this thing for this crop to actually give a better result. Most farmers don't have any idea about that. And most of them fail to even find out. Most of them do not even have the time to ask questions from people that have done it before, or ask questions randomly from different persons. Like I will say, if you want to venture into any crop in agriculture today, please ask questions about people that have done it before. Look for 2, 3, 4 persons that you can talk to. Just ask them random questions. By the time all of them give you their responses, you will see something unique about all the response that is similar to all of them. Then you have an idea of that this is compulsory, that you need to do it. And this is a yardstick for the better result you're actually expecting. But most persons don't find out. They feel like, okay, fine. My great-grandfather was a farmer. My grandfather was a farmer. My father was a farmer. I used to follow him to farm. That is not enough reason for you to think you know everything about agriculture and venture into it. And that's why so many persons are burning their fingers in agriculture today. So many persons keep complaining, I spent so millions of naira in agriculture, I've done this one, I didn't get any result. Yes. They should be told, a money that is not well calculated cannot be well spent. And a money that is not well spent is as good as useless. And that is why you spend millions of naira on your farm, you never get results. So many persons have spent millions on the farm, they've done this one, they've done this one. But right from the day one of that farm, they are wasting the money. I know of a particular farm, they have spent so much money, he went to get bulldozer to clear the land. He spent a lot of money ironing the bulldozer to clear that. He paid the operator heavily. Bought diesel, bought everything. But do you know that right from the day he started doing the land clearing, he has destroyed the farm for the next 5 years? Because all the topsoil on the farm was removed. And he believed the bulldozer operator was doing a very fantastic job, that he even dashed the operator money. But between me and you, we know that the bulldozer operator has actually ruined the yield of that farm for the next 5 years. So such persons will say he's spending millions of naira on the farm, he's spending millions of naira, and he's not making profit. He can never make profit, because the very crop you're going to plant on that farm will not do it until the next 5 years. So these are some of the facts that we want everybody to understand. If you don't understand this thing, you will not make profit, because you only keep wasting the money. We got a report from a farmer too that is doing cucumber. He said yes, he's doing cucumber. He's a very good cucumber farmer. The first set of cycle of cucumber he did wonderfully well. Good. The second set, he feel like he has known everything all. So he left the farm in the care of one of his guy on the field or something like that. So he traveled. He was just telling the guy, yeah, let me water it, let me do this one, let me do this one. But not understanding the fact that principles that govern cultivation in rainy season is quite different from what governs cultivation in dry season. And as a matter of fact, if you are doing vegetable cultivation, you need to observe. Your administration on the field, your operation on the field is a function of what you have observed on the field. You can be on your farm today and there's no beetle on your farm. But by the time you come to your farm tomorrow morning, you meet a lot of beetle on the farm. And that's how bad it could get within just 12 hours or even 24 hours. Now, he believes that the guy is doing a wonderful job. He tell the guy, let me spray this one, let me pour water, let me do this one. The guy is doing it. Unknown to him that the farm is dying. Only waiting for him for the time of harvest, he came back. And he found out that the farm is even dead on standing. And the guy that was helping him to do it, the guy said, I'm doing everything he asked me to do. I didn't know the plants. I thought that this is how the plant looks. Their plants will always look like. Because he doesn't know. But the person too does not understand the principle of cultivation. He believes that the principle of what he did on the first cycle is the same principle he's going to use on the second cycle. But nevertheless, not knowing that you need to observe the plant and know what is going on. And that's why I will always urge, if you think you are an investor, you have people operating on your farm for you, you have interest in, you have passion for agriculture, you are very busy. Fine, yes, we have a lot of people like that. But you want to be operating a farm. Number one, get someone that knows about this thing. If you cannot have that person on your farm permanently, have someone that you talk to regularly about what's going on in your farm. Number two, you need to ensure that you have a pictorial report of your field at least every week, if not every day. When they send pictures to you, you will see whether the farm is dying or not. And number three, you yourself need to know about that particular crop they are cultivating in your field. Because when they send pictures to you and the farm is dying and you don't know anything about it, you will think it's fine. But whereas the farm is gone. That the leaves are green does not mean that the farm is healthy. That the leaves are still green does not mean the plant is healthy too. A lot of things might be going wrong. Because most of the effects you see on the farm today are not a function of what happened to them that very day. They are functions of what has happened to them 2 weeks ago that is manifesting today. So you can imagine if something has affected your plant 2 weeks ago and is manifesting today, and you think it happens today, and you are holding on for the next week before you administer something to it, then you know the farm will go down and go off before you even administer anything to it. And that is why most of the time some farms will say, hey, yes, I saw this thing today, I applied something the following day, it did not do well. The effect has been on since because you did not observe it. And that's why you need to know about a particular crop. Get a pictorial report of your farm almost every day or every other day, or at least once in a week, with a video of a good portion of your farm showing in that video. Secondly, have someone that knows about this and that you talk to, or perhaps that can help you visit the farm even when you cannot go there. This is the challenges that most persons are facing. Even to the commonest plant, maize. Most persons believe that maize amangbi agbado dada now. Sheba agbado la mangbi, amaba mangbi agbado, daddy mangbi agbado, baba to baba mangbi agbado, baba to baba mangbi agbado. Amante lozoko, wa shekini ko. Ma and sir, the dynamics have changed. The challenges you have on the field those days is not the challenges you have in the field today. Just as the currency is increasing, the same thing with the troubles in the farm is increasing. We have different insects in the farm today that are invading the farms as fast as you can think of. Deforestation is occurring every day and their colonies are being destroyed. They have no option than to invade farms. And that's what I wanted to know. We are building structures every day. We are deforesting every day. You are displacing these insects and all these things that are affecting the farm every day. So they will always look for a place to feed on. They will always look for food to eat. They will always look for a place to live. And that's why they are always roaming around every corner where they see leaves to feed. And that's why the principles or the challenges you're having in those days that your fathers are cultivating is not the same principle today. In those days, how many of, if you remember very well, if you think you have a father, your father has a farm and you follow your father to the farm, in those days, what is called armyworm? Do you have armyworm infestation on maize farm in those days? Not as common as it is now. In the agriculture of today, before you plant maize, armyworm is already close to your farm. Before you put the seed on the ground, they are always around. In those days, we don't have issues like that. When you see in those days, the farm, I remember very well, I used to go to the farm too then when I was very small then. The challenge we used to have on the farm then, in those days, we were bird attacking our maize. Then my daddy used to have a farm, we have a neighbor then that has a farm, so we used to visit their farm then. It was bird we used to go and, that time we were small. Then when we go to the farm, the daddy of our neighbor, the daddy of my friend, we tell us to pick stones. We start throwing stones into the maize farm just to scare the birds away. Those were the challenges we were having then. And we took pleasure in doing that because it was fun. You know, we were very small then, picking stones, throwing stones into the maize farm just to scare the birds. The birds just fly. We're like, they flew. We'll not run again. We have to pursue them. Start throwing stones again. It was like fun to us. But we were directly controlling the attack on the farm. Those are the challenges we were having in those days. But today, what is the challenge we have in our maize farms? Agricultural practice has gone beyond that, and you need to be updated about the principles that govern agricultural practices such that you can make profits. I tell you, if you think you have the money to invest in agriculture, I will tell you, do something. Please, out of that money you have, no matter how big it is, remove a particular percentage. As low as it could be, maybe 50,000, 100,000, or even 150,000. You might think it's a big money. but it's a very small money to compare to you losing millions. Talk to people that knows about these things. A lot of us today that are going to agriculture today, we fail to understand the fact that you have to seek a consultant advice. Ask question from a consultant, a practical consultant, for instance, that will tell you about what is going on the farm or what you should expect. When you have an understanding about this and you have a consultant that you always talk to regularly, this is a kind of a form of a guideline to protect your own millions that you want to invest in. But so many persons that have these millions feel like if I remove 100,000 to pay a consultant, it's too much money. I can't pay a consultant that money. It's too much. I understand how to go about it. They end up wasting 5 million instead of sacrificing 100,000 naira. Now, which one is better? Sacrificing 100,000 naira to talk to a consultant that will tell you what to do, or spending 5 million naira at the end of the day, everything go down the drain. You now come back and say, maybe you just say, the seed I bought is not good. That's always the usual practice. Or the people that sold the seed to me, they sold fake seed to me. It's a lie. Or the fertilizer they sold to me is fake. The fertilizer did not work. It's a big lie. Even to the workers on the farm, they didn't do what they asked them to do. It's a lie. You yourself did not understand the principles of what you want to venture into before you venture into it. The thing is this, you cannot use your 2 feet to test the depth of the water, else you are drowning already. But what you just did, that you used your 2 feet to test the depth of the water by investing 5 million to agriculture that you don't know anything about. It's a very big joke, a very expensive joke for that matter. And we want you to understand these concepts. These things are not difficult as the picture you make yourself see when you not ask somebody about it before you venture into it. Someone that spent 5 million on agricultural practices and did not make one error will see agriculture to be a very difficult task. But I can tell you today, agriculture is very simple, very easy to operate, very easy to work with if you understand principles. But the problem we all have is to sit down and study that principle. Is to sit down and talk to somebody that knows about these principles to explain to you how to go about these things before you venture into it. It's for us to have our phone, talk to somebody that knows about these things. Please, I want to do something like this. Can you enlighten me? Okay, let's have a meeting. A 2 hours meeting will show more light to so many things that you don't know about this agricultural practice you want to go into first before you start it. That alone will give you a guideline on what you need to do first and how to do them well in order to achieve better results. But these are some of the things that a lot of us fail to put in place. We believe that we have the money. Just make a call. I want to buy this. I want to do this one. How much is the money? Let me transfer to you. Shaya, take it to the farm. Go and plant for me. You start calling boys. Hey, you clear the field. Oh, yeah, plant. Put the seed in the ground. That's all. And you feel you start agriculture. You say, I'm a farmer. I have 200 acres of maize farm that I've planted. It's a lie, a big joke. 200 acres of maize farm that you don't know anything about. How the maize even metamorphoses from the seedling that gets to the first shoot. From there, it starts growing. How you maintain or how you take care of that particular crop till it starts tasseling. How you start tasseling. How you maintain the farm that the crops, the fruits that's coming out are not being attacked. And for you to have a bountiful harvest, you don't know anything about that. You just entrust it to the hand of one of the guys that is working on the field for you. That says, guy, I'm worried. Now keep calling every day. Oga, after Akinikon, I send 200,000. You just send. Now carry 150,000 that money. You go and do faji. Buy cold bottle of beer and drink pepper soup, and go and buy clothes and gallivant, and you just do one or two things in your farm and tell you, Oga, this shit, you just do a demo video for you. Oga, see it, you have done it. You say, whoa, well done. Because he knows you don't know anything about it, and he will keep calling you every week for money. Oga, we need to buy one chemical like that. We need to spray the chemical like that. It's a lie. If you understand this principle, you know that chemical is necessary or not. Every operation on the field per day has its own sequence. And when you do a particular operation, it has a recurring time. If you do a particular operation on a farm and there's not yet time for you to do it again, or there's no need for you to do it again, if you don't know, you will keep spending money on it. And because of the fact that the people on the farm knows that you don't know anything about it, they keep extorting you. Now, let me put it to you now. By the time they extort you for 10 times, you are recording the money you are spending. Then your capital expenditure is increasing. The plant you're expecting to use to recover that money is not doing well. When you now sell, the expenditure is like this. The sales is like this. Look at the margin of money you've lost. When you check that margin that you have lost as a result of money you've wasted with your ignorance about agriculture. Today we want you to understand something. We feel bad at Tulukan Multiventures Limited when we hear stories of people that spend so much money on agriculture and we ask them questions how they went about it, and we realize the fact that It was their ignorance that made them waste that money. Because they cannot ask questions from persons that know about these things. We've met a lot of persons, we meet people every day that have wasted millions in agriculture. And they keep coming to like, so what do I do next? What you need to do next is to start all over again. Seek knowledge. No knowledge is a waste. Nobody's an island. Even we that we talk to you on Solo Carbon Limited, we are every day cultivating. As I speak to you now, every of our episode, by the time we are done, as I'm leaving the studio, we are going straight to the farm. We are also farmers, practical farmers. We are doing these things we are saying, and we are bringing feedback from the farm to share across to you. We are more or less like your research institute, telling you what we have researched on and how you can try to do it better. We are more or less like your guardian, trying to tell you what you need to do differently from what you've been doing before, so you can get a better result. We are more or less guiding you not to make the same mistakes we have made before. And that's why we were urging everybody to seek for knowledge about this particular thing. Agriculture is sweet if you can seek for knowledge. I tell you, if you understand how to go about this thing, everything seems like magic to you. And when you see the results, it will be massive. At Solo Carbon Multiventures Limited, we want to urge you today, seek for knowledge about this particular crop you are cultivating. To a lot of our vegetable farmers out there, we know so many challenges that vegetable farmers are having, because vegetable is very delicate. We visited a farm last week, a tomato farm, and the tomato farm was doing wonderfully well. The truth be told, is one of our testimonies, and that's why I'm sharing it to you. This is one of our customers that bought things from us. He has done the tomato farm before. Let me start from there. He did about 3 acres. And the tomato farm, he did not recover. He didn't even get 30% of the money he invested in the project. It's quite devastating. He was almost giving up when I met him. He came to buy some things. We met. We had a conversation, and we organized a meeting. We had a counseling section, a consultation section rather, on how to go about these agricultural practices, which was very productive. Now, right from that consultation section that we had, he was already pinpointing where he made errors, which led to him not even seeing his capital money, not of making profits. And he immediately was noting them and making corrections about what he needs to do differently. I tell you, when I visited the farm on Saturday, this man cultivated about 3 acres of tomatoes. He spent almost 2 million something, according to him. Though when we did some evaluation, we realized that the major things that he needs to spend on the tomato farm was not up to that. But in all, he spent about 3 million. I'm sure he calculated his logistics and his going, coming, and some other expenses, maybe some things he bought, blah, 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 like that. Everything was calculated into it, about 2 million plus. And the question is, before now, he was always calling, asking questions, but he was scared. Even though the tomato farm was doing well, he was scared again that he has spent a lot of money again. That hope he's going to get his money. And I told him, you will get your money. We had an agreement, we had a deal on how we can remotely monitor his farm for him, which will actually fulfill our own end of the bargain. But I must tell you, as at Saturday last week that I visited the farm, this man has harvested tomato that he has harvested and sold tomato worth 3.6 million naira already. And after that day I visited the farm, they were still harvesting, taking to the market to sell. As a matter of fact, the people that want to buy the tomato, their cars were already parked on the farm, waiting for them to finish harvesting, and each of them will take the quantity they want. The man is still harvesting as I speak to you this morning now. Still taking the tomato to the farm. He has made well over the money he invested, even the money he spent on other things that were not even pertaining to the tomato farm. He has made that money. He has made profit over $1 million, and he's still harvesting as I speak to you. What am I trying to say? Understanding principles that governs a particular operation in the farm makes you to break even and get better results. So many persons today are cultivating, but how well are you doing it is a function of what you need to know. As Solo Carbon Multiventures Limited, we are urging you, no knowledge is a waste. And mind you, no one is an island. Seek for knowledge about that particular investment you want to do in agriculture. Someone has done it before. People have made mistakes in that environment. Seek for knowledge. Ask them about what they've done differently. Calculate all their mistakes and put them together. That one alone will guide you not to make the same mistakes again. And when you're not making those mistakes, you are close to making profits. And that's what we want to urge you today. Always seek knowledge. Don't think your father was a farmer. You're also a good farmer. The dynamics have changed. The principles are different now. You need to understand how it goes and to make a better result. My name remains Mark Oluwafemi for Soluka TV. Until next week we come your way again, we want you to always make profit. Because when you make profit, we are also making profit as well too. Mind you, we are not just after you buying produce from us, but we are after you effectively using that produce and getting value for every money you spend. Soluka loves you, and that's why they call us farmer's friend. So till we see you again next week, whatever you want to do, you can do it well. Bye for now.
Bàbá Sídí, ọ̀rẹ́ mi, níbi táyé lajú dé yìí ló tún roko àrógbá kéèké.
Wọ́n rò ó ti sú mi, mo ti fi kó tó ẹ̀mẹ́ta lọ́dún
yìí. Níbo ló ti wá ra kẹ́míkà tiẹ̀?
A ní lọ́dọ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n máa ń to kẹ́míkà sí ẹ̀gbẹ́ títì ibẹ̀ mo rà.
Ọmọ ṣe o, àgbárí bíjá tuntun kí o tò.
Kàṣà.
Sórí, ó ti gbọ́n pa sólókàdì ń tiẹ̀. Sólókàdì nìkan ní ta ojúlówó kẹ́míkà. Tó o bá dọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ kò sírú kẹ́míkà tó wá tó rí. Kí ni jẹ́ èpò níwájú kẹ́míkà sólókàdì?
Ṣé lóòótọ́? Ṣé lóòótọ́?
Òótọ́ ni mo sọ fún ọ. Wo, má yá lọ.
Mo rí gbogbo rẹ.
Kẹ́míkà sólókàdì.
Sólókàdì.
Bẹ́ẹ̀. Kẹ́míkà sólókàdì, kẹ́míkà tó dáa ni.
Sólókàdì.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Kẹ́míkà sólókàdì.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Dákun ọ̀rẹ́ mi. Níbo ni iléeṣẹ́ wọn wà bí ṣọ́ọ̀bù wọn níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ta tèmi náà ti lè ra?
Amúnigun Ògùnpa náà ni.
Ògùnpa ń bẹ̀rù.
Nọ́mbà 57.
Nọ́mbà 57.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Amúnigun Ògùnpa.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni. Tọ́ ọ bá ti débẹ̀ ó ti rí ilé wọn báyìí. Wọ́n kàn wọ ọbẹ̀ lọ mú yìí tó wù ọ́.
Ọ̀rẹ́ mi.
Àgbẹ̀ ti di rọrùn.
Tèmi ti dá lọ́dún yìí.